this video, I'll review 2 common traps that are secretly stopping you from improving your English. These traps might feel like progress, but they are actually holding you back. Hello everyone, my name is Carrie. I spent 13 years as a conference interpreter working with leaders like Warren Buffett and Ray Dalio and for organizations like the UN and Goldman Sachs. Now I coach busy professionals like you to improve their English communication skills and build more confidence at work. After consulting and coaching many professionals, I have seen these same 2 traps over and over again. And the first trap is what I call a vocabulary trap. Many professionals are obsessed with growing their vocabulary. They download a lot of vocabulary apps, memorize different kinds of word lists, and test and retest their vocabulary sizes. But here's the problem. They focus on the number of words that they can recognize, not the number of words they can actually use. Let me share a story that perfectly shows that trap. About 6 years ago at a networking event, there was a guy who knew that I was a conference interpreter. So he asked me about my vocabulary size. To be completely honest with you, I found that question very odd because I have been working as an interpreter for 13 years and I've never once counted how many words I know. So I answered him honestly. I said, I don't know, probably 4,000 words that I actively use. He almost choked on his drink. He said, what? Only 4,000? That is too small. I just tested myself on this language app. I know over 10,000 words. How can you even work as an interpreter with such a small vocabulary? Then things got interesting. Some American executives joined our group and started asking him simple questions about his work, about his industry, and I watched as his confident smile turned into a total panic. His face got super red because he clearly couldn't follow what they were saying. When they asked him about his company, all he could do was mumbling some broken phrases. It was very awkward. Of course, I jumped in to help him. Watching him struggle wasn't fun, and I felt really bad for him because like many professionals, he got stuck in the vocabulary trap. He was obsessed with how many words he could recognize in an app, not how many words he could actually use in real life. In other words, he didn't understand what having a 10,000 vocabulary really means. So what does it even mean to have a 10,000 vocabulary? In my opinion, it means you can understand that 10,000 words instantly when you read them in context. You can write them naturally to express your ideas. You can say them confidently in conversations, presentations, and you can catch them when people use them in fast-paced discussions. If you cannot do these things, then those words are not truly a part of your vocabulary. They are just some words that you can recognize in an app. Now, you might wonder, why do so many people fall into this trap? It's very simple. Counting vocabulary feels awesome. Numbers give us something measurable, and watching that number grow in an app feels like real progress. I get it, I really do. Who doesn't like seeing a number grow? But here's the problem. This is a false sense of progress because you think you know the 10,000 words, but you cannot really use it. So what's the point of recognizing them in an app? And to make things worse, this false sense of progress is costing you something far more valuable: real progress. So how do you make real progress? You need to instead focus on 2 things. The first thing is when you learn a new word, make sure you can actually use it. 2, focus on how well you can use that word. When you learn a word, make sure you can use it across all 4 skills: writing, reading, speaking, and listening. The goal isn't to just recognize it in an app, it's to use it in real life. Second, there are different levels of mastering a word. So it's not enough to just know how to use it. You need to use the word very well. Here's a question I hear all the time, and I bet this happened to you too. Carrie, how come I can understand a word perfectly when I'm reading, but then completely miss it during my English meetings? The answer is very simple. Reading and listening require very different levels of mastery of that word. If you're reading, you have the luxury of time. You can read slowly. You can go back if you want to. You can take some time to think about what the word means. So even if you're not very familiar with the word, you have time to think about it. You can get by. But in a real conversation, everything changes. The standard is suddenly much higher. The word flies by in a split second, and you need to be able to process that word and understand it immediately. That's what I mean by different levels of mastery. So you need to move beyond just knowing how to use a word. You need to master the words and use it well too. And this brings us to something that really matters. Your boss, your colleagues, and your clients don't care about your vocabulary size. They care about one thing. Can you use English to get things done? That's what you should be focusing on. The second trap that is secretly holding you back is the activity trap. Basically, it means that you are doing a lot of activities. You are very busy, but those activities are producing very little results. Let me point out something important here. There is a very, very big difference between activities and practice. Activities keep you busy, but don't produce much results. Real progress, real training, move you forward, move you towards your specific goals. Why do so many people spend time on activities that don't produce results? Because it's easy. It's easy to follow what's trending. You see popular videos with tons of likes, and everybody is recommending the same apps or shows or articles, so you join the crowd, you do what's popular. But here is the huge problem. You are forgetting something that is very important. You are forgetting about your own needs. Here's the truth. Many of these exercises are fine, they're okay, but they're not designed for professionals like you. They're for people who are learning English for fun, students who are preparing for exams, or people who just want to understand American TV shows. Your needs are very, very different. You need English for communication. You need it for your career, for your personal and professional growth. Think about what you need English for, and then ask yourself whether your current activities or your current practice are really training you for those situations. For example, you need to sit in meetings and understand complex issues being discussed. Does watching Modern Family or listening to BBC help you with that? You need to do client pitches and give presentations. Do your language apps improve your persuasion and public speaking? You need to handle one-on-one with your boss and performance review with your team. Does the articles in Economist teach you how to build relationships? You see what I'm getting at. You need to match your practice with your actual needs. Otherwise, you would be doing a lot of busy work and you're not making any real progress. If you are interested in practices that actually work for professionals, check out this video. The practice I mentioned in the video aren't trendy or sexy, but they will give you real results. They will give you results that matter for your career.